Last Saturday, the New Patriotic Party held parliamentary primaries in 245 constituencies around the country. The successful outcome of these well-organized elections have once again demonstrated our faith and commitment towards the deepening of our democracy. The generally peaceful nature of the polls was a manifestation of the determination and preparedness of the NPP to prosecute an effective and efficient campaign that would ensure that our presidential candidate and party emerge victorious in next year's presidential and parliamentary elections. We are grateful to the rank and file of the party, especially the delegates who conducted themselves in a spirit of brotherliness. We want also to take this opportunity to thank the Electoral Commission for the collaborative effort in organizing the primaries. The same goes to the Ghana Police Service for their quick response to duty. In due course, our party will officially acknowledge them in writing. We also congratulate the winners of the contest and urge them to extend a hand to everybody and close ranks for our party. To those who were unsuccessful, we thank them very much for the role they played and urge them to still dedicate themselves as true patrons of our party to work together with our chosen parliamentary candidates to achieve our main goal of Victory 2016. In fact, those with genuine grievances should present their cases to the party secretariat for redress, and they should desist from engaging in recrimination, counter-accusations, especially in the media. It is noteworthy to acknowledge that 21 women emerged victorious, whilst unfortunately we lost 6 female incumbents in the process. So in fact, affirmative action has worked. It's encouraged a lot more women to file in the process, and it is evidenced by the amount of victors we have seen on Saturday. We are also happy to report that a significant amount of winners of the contest were below the ages of 35, which goes to affirm that the party MPP remains an attractive destination for the youth of our country. And that bodes well for the future both of our political tradition and the country as a whole. Today, we have formally received the actual results as declared by the Electoral Commission in the various constituencies, except in 2 constituencies, namely Sunyani East and Gumua East, where the results were very, very close and are subject to challenges. We want to conclude by appealing to all members of our party, especially our foot soldiers, polling station executives, constituency executives, to rally around the chosen candidates, work together in genuine show of unity, and be guided by the principle of service, sacrifice, and selflessness that has become the very foundation of our political tradition. Well, I think the regulations are very clear. If you decide to go independent, then you forfeit your membership of the party. But of course, as I said, it's a political entity. We are encouraging our Council of Elders in the various constituencies, and in fact at the regional level, to intervene in the few places that we've had apprehensions rearing its head up. So it's something that we'll work out, but the laws are very clear, and we expect everybody to respect their own undertakings. They under their signature. And once the elections was truly free and fair without any interferences, I think that the results, people should respect the verdict of the majority of our delegates.
The FDA got got involved, concerned with public sensitivities surrounding the Ebola disease and fears that clinical trials of vaccines could generate among Ghanaians, and conscious that thus of the need to be proactive, set out a plan for stakeholder engagements preceding any formal approval for Ebola vaccine trials. Mr. Speaker, I must concede that implementation of the program for stakeholder consultation and community engagement has not been as thorough as one would have expected. Consequently, I took the decision to announce the suspension of commencement of clinical trials to allow for adequate time to reach out and assure all concerned that under no circumstances will the ministry or the government, for that matter, approve any clinical trials that will undermine the health and safety of residents of Hoho in the Volta region and the people of Ghana as a whole. But, Mr. Speaker, even before the sensitization starts, let me state categorically that the trial has not started anywhere in Ghana. Let me also state that we have not even given any approval for the importation of any such vaccines. And let me further state that no volunteers have been recruited for any proposed trials. Indeed, the selection of volunteers in itself is a very rigorous process with a long drawn-out protocol and safeguards. It actually involves an exam. Mr. Speaker, this sensitization program will, as a matter of urgency, be extended to the Brong and Hafo, Volta and Upper East regions, which will usually host clinical trials. Ebola evokes fear, and discussions about the disease are emotive. Clearly, Ghanaians are in general, and the communities within which the trials have been planned were not sufficiently consulted and briefed about the trial. In order for this to be corrected, I am proposing the following steps. 1. A nationwide public education program will be initiated to sensitize the Ghanaian public on the nature of vaccine trials against Ebola to remove the misconceptions and suspicions. The sensitization program will begin on Thursday, 18th of June, 2015 in Accra, 2 days' time. It will afford members of the general public and the media the opportunity to interact with professionals on clinical trials. We would hope that all views will be discussed at these forums that are going to be organized, in order that a total objective position can be obtained.
The human tests that we have to do associated with phase 1 trial, are we sure we can do it here? And which laboratory is going to do it? Or we are going to take samples, put them in bags, and leave them outside the country? And who owns that data? Mr. Speaker, to help science, we should be all involved as a country to help science grow. But the way that somebody who claims to know will go on air and denigrate Parliament as if he knows more than anybody in this country, Mr. Speaker, I think he has to be brought, Professor Adom has to be summoned to the Privileges Committee to let him inform us if he thinks he knows more than everybody, so that we can even confront him there. He's not here, so I'll leave this matter aside. But I'll claim your knowledge that in giving instructions, Professor Alex Dodu, who we all know was appointed at the time to be the chairman of the board of FDA, and we don't know what happened, which we all know a lot of things. We cannot confront him at the Privileges Committee, so that we all mind our speech outside. The people of Hokoi would want to know how come Hokoi was taken on a disease that has already said in this country. Mr. Speaker, there are more questions that I don't want to encumber the scientific community by saying they can't do trials here. But science should operate within a vacuum. It cannot operate within a vacuum.
But Mr. Speaker, we need your strong guidance on this matter. To the professed experts on this subject, Mr. Speaker, I only hope and pray that his malicious and wicked and objectionable attack on this August House with those misleading comments was not meant to create fear and panic in this country. Because if we say we don't have Ebola, and you are announcing and incentivizing people to be associated with it, it's a very good source of the creation of fear and panic in this country. And I think it's only appropriate we support honorable members' comment that we call him to order.
We admit we are not experts in the area. My friend, the minister himself, is a lawyer like me. But, Mr. Speaker, the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences are on our side. They have also raised concerns. Indeed, they met the minister on June 3rd and raised 9 issues of concern. Various issues. And, Mr. Speaker, if the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences has the best scientists in our country, they are the people that have risen to the pinnacle of their profession. And if they are on the same side as Parliament, then, Mr. Speaker, we are in good company. We must sing Hallelujah Cross. And, Mr. Speaker, we must be proud of what we did. Because, and we should continue as a House to question matters that should be of concern to Ghanaians. That is our responsibility, and we should continue to exercise it.
It's sad that he doesn't know that the authority with which he has now and that the freedom to come on air and articulate is because Parliament is the bastion of democracy. Yeah. In the absence of Parliament, he, Professor Alex Dodu, will not have that guts to go on air and say what he has said. He's old enough to know what happened in this country. There's no way he could do that. So for some of them to always come and run down Parliament, please, I would not want to say that he is ignorant. I can only say he lacks information. Why he kept on saying that we were ignorant people.
The Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences wishes to state its firm position that, subject to satisfactory answer to the issues it has raised, a number of issues have been raised in the statement, and considering the gaps in our knowledge, these are fellows saying the gaps in our knowledge and state of preparedness, it will be unsafe to undertake the proposed ETD vaccine clinical trials in Ghana. These are fellows of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. And then Professor Dodu is telling this House that we are ignorant. He should go and challenge his professors in his field. All members have been invited to refer this matter to the Privileges Committee. I have been very slow since I became a speaker to refer matters to the Privileges Committee.
Okay, so Rasaba Duajaho, Speaker of Parliament, August House now, probably for the first time also science a chess and a boy fukaka. I know shit, and easy. But that's it. So 1760 your text message line in Fabrain na Yanjibre and Kinkai Mao. Yanfa this release. Yan can come out quickly. Nafi Yensa Embra back. Well, Sylvester Mensah resigns from NHIA, and it reads, "Dear colleagues, yesterday was exactly 6 years since I assumed office as Chief Executive of the NHIA. Looking back, the NHIA today is a significant departure from what it was at the time. Together, we have placed Ghana's NHIS as a leading model and an international case study for effective and efficient construction of a health insurance scheme in both developing and the developed world. The raft of initiatives we have collectively pursued have attracted international learning and knowledge-sharing experiences, which has positioned Ghana as a leading destination for health insurance studies. Our strategies of focus for academic research, analysis and template for emulation by others. I am exceedingly grateful to all management and staff for the cooperation, contribution, and commitment to our objectives. I am even more grateful for the opportunity to exercise leadership in the NHIA over the past years. This mail to you signifies a new phase in the life of the scheme. Indeed, a change in leadership and a renewed motivation and commitment to steer the scheme with high velocity. I will have fond memories of our collective passion to succeed, the occasional harsh decisions in our collective interest, the affections and comradeship we have shared, the principled loyalty, and his spirit, the corps inherent in our working relations. As I leave office in the next few days, it is my conviction that you will accord my successor, who has no less capacity and enthusiasm, the same support and cooperation and even more. Let's keep an eye on the ongoing restructuring of the scheme. Let's devote attention to the upscaling of capitation. Let's deepen and expand our efficiency gain strategies, and above all, let's continue to close the communication gap with our stakeholders. Okay, so Ghana's health insurance scheme shall succeed. My appreciation and warm regards to all for 6 years of eventful engagement and success. Thank you, Sylvester Mensah, Chief Executive, National Health Insurance Authority. So that's it. Na yabusan because any release ni bi on my bar na chire ya ko nyam na chire na nyam mfe bi na hake na ya ka ka nyanji ya be hwene na kasa 1760 on text message line. Well, Obuasi West ya chia delegates nyina ne mo constituency nyina and ya chia re-elect #re-elect. It has not been an easy battle. One of Ghana's finest in terms of Mashebe for and where Chikwana before Ora Mashebe Germano, Yankasa, how distinguishing under the presidency of His Excellency John Ejekum Kufuor, Nyoma Hodoa or Kasa or Ne Anamo Kra O2 this time around in Parliament. A lot of questions to ask, especially what feed that experience in Mwabano and in Nyoma Abba afterwards. No, you will be saying Sema Hodopi. Nimyan for Kokukwati, Aqua, no Bokodia. Saturday day before kwa kan ti ase enye because na so we ma bibia kona kwa mu ase
na ye wie no na adofo ne omu a no mani wo yidwumadie no ho a no mo frɛ abo abaso ne ade no na dos nti na phone no kra na ye di ato baabi I see nti edanyame ase se bibia akoboko. Okay, but
na Jenny is saying towards the primaries na that smooth or rough edges be ne we were from kakra
na me anim ne obisa me pa the mechanic said na contest na nkini se yekọ ohwe omu a yekọ ye ne ade no a na me fi nka hia se yebekọ but kamiba me nka bia mamu ne sa na tie obi se obegina wontumi nhye no se mema no ngina yede ko hihye so no ewie ye no edadi pefe se miana Obuasi MPP pese metoa jumedia mi die ne so mefa akonya wi na delegate ni in particular mada omu ase na mada Obuasi fo nyina ase abato na MPP fo na eto nanso na Obuasi fo Obuasi ni die akire ebi se na omu ka bi kire delegate no se omu a omu ba no ye we ni ye pesa mo de ne brain misusu se ni nyina ka ho na ema minkunimdie no eye kese sa nti meda Boaseman ase na mada ye delegate na se mefa konya we su na miaminua Sule oye electoral area coordinator ewo estate machia no na no a flat no si ye June 3rd no ohwere ne ba ade a marehuye mefa akonya wi so achia no na makase Nyankopon enhye ne den me attempt se me bubo edin no bia ebe ha adwene fi se omu dos mumtumi moni nyina afi na ya koyese na ede na me din ama me se kwati
because of the attorney
but we dey bibi asemato ne nyon nko a omu time achi e wo campaign we mu omu edos pa me hu se MPP kuno at this time odo ewom pa kroye ewom me hwe sania omu time achi na nsem ni bi kosokra na eye ni no mafre se kwato de menkasa eye ne be den ye beto aba no nti na mo ka se o me ye quiet no kra me a promise we me ye madwene se ehu hia se MPP fo ye be yi o radio so esa na e party ekitafo no di yawo nti me ye se menkasa kra but party fo na na she me nkran sɛ msakwato wo de menkasa nyankopɔn ɛna ɛyi hene meda boase man ɛda oboase MPP fo nyinaa ase sɛ omu ahyɛ me animonyam.
Okay, yes, you're the CP. At least we are proud of you because Nippon say the more Mrashibejama, we can confidently say Mrashibejam, it will be Mia, more the Ghana who done their call, now more the constituencies who don't so call. But at the end of this, he said, because I'm Jumadin day when Mrashibejam, so no more constituency rather than some of Ghana at Tumobo, Mubia, Mumu, Titu, Petrus, and Mabeki King. More timid, a timid Jumadaji, because some friend cratem, some quiet, some ra, a be a constituency crown, a Juma go up, and so about no do no mudi go mutim points and Kayan Ghana in we answer. If we are not cared in Chimako constituency or Mose, yes, you will have the but a quite yadona. In Tiene, Sir Ghana, Sumau, the constituency as Sumano. How do you balance it? How do you manage it?
And a idea. But the American say a babyano is soon food those one. Ubobodin say ube donina. The Eddie kind me who say Kabimami Kabia amamu any mrashe begemu amamu Ghana if you see and shed and chair. And Tiasiano ewo any pepi trimunu ye payo. And they say Obi Hondi him say when you to abama dear. I was a bia no ne na na wo na o problem bia na woduru na boboa no ete sen o how bia na wuyi how no free ho nkofo pesa wo ban o mu ba ho ya kabima minka bia mamuo no a empesua ne sunu yi nipa se onkosi empesua na nan se boase man anam e wo nkran na bibi si wo ha wa hwese good bibi si wo ha wa hwese oboase ye die na nkuntie bia na ye hyemra emra ne ye adwuma ebe ha oboaseman okwan bi so nko na wo boase a obetumi aka se da bi emra omode be na kwan ebe fa so affect me nkofo ni nti no gisi ye sakra mu kakra na efie ho no de yes president no yeyi no onyi MC no onko di assembly no mo nhwe efie adwuma but enam say entiase ne wie peyo nti no nkofo susu say yenya to abama ode a e wo say one ya na eden ti obi kra timi ga so yenya to abama na wakotena nkran ye to abama de kotena nkran ho na eduru ye na ye beto aba no if say ni nsusu ye mu no nkran kra de ne de enhyeda ehia e wo say nka ye nyina no ye bafie but nkran so de no ka de bia say dumso ya ba ye na e ha ye mu pi national health insurance ya ene agigye ya obi ba osimikuta card nso me call ye kra no na hwemi ye na afedi eha no eye because enkamrahye bedwom e won kran ye ni a e wo se kwa aban ne ho na ka de oye onye no ye ntumi nya ne ye efise wo enkran ye se adwuma na obetese esi
ochi enye
o constituency for so mute on kan chew na omu eto abamo akura no ni ade I think a balance bi a ye koye nimu no ye benya entiase ne ni ho so ye costement tie na especially ye ba beto abase nso a the oba be challenge on so on the opposite to money the oba kan bia ebe ma ohun aye ahi no oba kan nti no onim se bi onim pa se wadwuma no e wo se wo konkran die nenso no once a enkofo e complain sa ne die omwa na omantete no the kan say asumesi kra na ye to abama no no.
How do we diffuse that because ya nhwe na nei ya famu die anyi sua de ne NDC for de be anyi go NDC for de nyame amem kwa de a omodo mo aban mu anhwe a ebe TSC form say hwan empire na yebo so anhwe yi a omodo de because wo aban mu na okro 2 media opposition kwa na yesi e presi na aban a ye wa aban mu a nyina we have everything at our disposal inti as Ghanaians as delegates as eligible voters ebe ye den ye du sam pempenso na ene yankofa moto yankofa car yankofa eye fridge yankofa sika me wo parliament amani abre ame shemra no na obi so asi kwakuku ate achi se ono be ka Ghana petrol wase ono ti wonu na de bi onam court na okọ na oba on say school dan kra na so apai we yie no oba bi wa ma wo fa eto ne bedin oba these trivialities in court omo fa nchemi omo say cultural setting ba ye nyini se ye kemba mi kebi dia ye nyini because tie nipa bi ni mu o hwe kwan a delegates bi to aba say or may nano ba ko 56 no di ma me ba no kra ko school of opportunity the constituency in kwala nyina ya ko school na delegates ma. How do we get ourselves away from perception, whether general election, whether internal party election? You see, I question why I'm TV, why I'm motor, why I'm car, one to school, when I buy and sign contracts, so we school. If I know people who have invested more than $200,000, not cities, in the primaries.
Oh, yes. Primaries, it's me a car. The bit me a car and say, yeah, quite an entity. Yeah, cost my own titi no ano. Enti ase no be ye adwuma ama enwoma we no eswate e cost say ya me de me hu ne say parliament adwuma no obi anye.
That is where we are coming to.
Cost say ya obi ane o pese
na parliament na only to the seat.
Obi ane o pese na adwuma e bo no enti ane osora no agya parliament adwuma no na bibia o constituency ene say dumso ba na say ebeduru mre bi na Ghana hahwe nkoso biewa. Well, eduru ha yenyina no yebese bi se say edien na amana ko se e bia no na be ma yasua but senia e ko no e ma wo ye MP a nkran adwuma no enye debut if you say the boss was is here sorry I think I agree it na bia entitia no beboa but again eduru ho na ehun sunsun so no eye kese a bi wa na mete na MPs no aban no ya ade kra no e wo se omuhwa omunhwe ni yi ni ade hu sunsan so ni bi na yehu amamu a enkoso yesidi e te kofomi enuma bi ho a misu senka wo se parliament itumi ya ahokeka no enkoye because
parliament mu PR department is a complicated exist because most of the things are yen tie de kutiam no adwin bi abeto yitim na yen obi anso wo free mu ho aba abakase da bi ya ne yehwe omo so yesi na hyehyɛ ne tie because enei so wan ko yi Obuasi West ekwan bi eda ho no ma kan hu se 4 years e beba no sa akwan no ye de beba osobo wan ko me se wa yi kan hu se de beba osobo be de me babae na me ka to se ne ho so malaria dro toma me just na say that just 100 cities no wan to afezu enim se wa ba na wa be fa yen sika de akotoka minim de apart from the air ka wa hai we me start ya de wi ache se me koto aba mo bi a 50 cities for 4 years is that enough rather than say impacting the whole community or constituency with a development project bia nipa do na binya so how do we fight it wo nkran no na me pa otumi na me ka say me tumi cancer makase it goes so how do we solve it
Ningna me ka say atenti ningna no de me kan say entity me susu say fundamentally ye nuano mo a wo fie omuto abaman ne ade no omu pe oman no ye omu nyina no pese nioma koso ye omu nti ase ne se wo ye MP nioma bi ho wo se wutumi ye ohia sika de ahwe amane ba ko school a wo se wutumi ko pebi ma no oba be ware na ne ho nso a wo se wutumi peska kakra so ne so omu adwene no and ebi antetie no ekoso no ano ye be fiase ayi adwene no afri ho but ye me de betwa to okra ne so ye tie ase no se ye we bi no ho a o ma adwene no ana enye ye mani tumi se onfanyi obi sa tumi no obefa so de anya ne ho te se de a ye ma otumi se we de wakotena ba mu se make decisions se we be si ana we nsi ose ne wo ma me bribe na ma ye de wo pe no ama se beboa wo M1 nipa dodo na o meye ose ye se eno so kakra wo wodi tumi na ma obi se onfanyi nipa ne de se nyamesuro ama ni mu de a ene ekon no so befa tumi ne so a ono di be nya ono ane ho no obefa so ni nyina no ye entity a wo se ye de ma ye ho nim se ye ko ye nim no ade a enyoma be
overall we are happy and satisfied with how normally akoso of primaries.
Overall Obuasi West de ekoye me ben Obuasi East nso ehonso no ekoye generally I think across the country there primaries no koye mate a few cases na bibi tochema any ade ebi no complaining but me kan nyina bomu a say dwumadie no akoye da nyankopon ase na ekire nso se ya krado say ye ko enemy 2016 elections no ye de ekroye ene ahodi kese ye de be ekosa elections ni.
How have you solved your party chairman and general secretary Omoko office? How have you solved that problem?
Oh, nanado akasa and okasa ye no aye adwuma. Me na me gitum se ube CC impanyinfo kwan so muntimi nko office ne ade no emmoa. Nti nana be kan se munya isa de no magyan and secretary and chairman omuko omu office kama nti ni hu de akabi we be ye koye nim no na se ensem ni bi piepia ye behwe koye be fa so a ye be so ano but so far de senia ye kono sene be ye se bosumi a se bosumi achi a ye kwa na de bia no wati edin e wo radio so no na ye nsem a
hwehwe response a Ira bank on a treasurer no what koma national chairman na minka ho asem na kan mu nsem wi uwia then you can say it's a party no still moye one ana aye nantwibini ana ani na wona ase na kohwe 4-page response ako chairman from Ira Bankwa and read the text of that memo no na hwe say party no indeed
when you raise we dey me yanu tiawa MPP party ni so pa elections here near our headquarters Obuasi West for instance you buy elections no ho se nkofo we can kudru community bi te se konka Obuasi konka gata kakraka bi a eda wo machiri ho a
edi omunya
nsuo to a no musuro se be fa omu makora e mama ntem ho nyina ye basabasa 2016 omu koto aba o mbehwe sa anoma ne se aban no ayede no baaye no waye ya pede ana eno wo ho nti we can de make point say elections no NC MPP headquarters of course say party treasurer actually to be command chairman na say na wu miminya hu ye say na wu sususu no emu nsem no enye da e ya de a ha adwene na kwa kopeleta ni bi na yakan but wontumi mfa
no
letter back no a treasurer actually command chairman no enkama ne nkoye say ense na usika no na MPP amanyoko na ntwibini eso na ye mo kan sa na as a more hype problem in my opinion anyhow
okay ebiane say a field aspirant is or to go abonte any 3 people are declare intent to go independent any baby I had to abandon the Krana for instance I think Sunyani East also there's we accept that Sanyoma with the about to the way they are as I say go and see Krana nipa do na because saying but the issue is that say we say yes say NDC for more modern no man ko yi o Ghana say free so if they say president and na mo bu aban no and dey nhihye egu akwema ma no man nyina akọ this one wa ase ne ntimi enye adwuma dey say so honom no there's a challenge who recollect say this time around mo change mo strategy mo dey sika call constituency for no direct otie mo chairman for ne bi response on the radio TV. Mobile constituency accounts.
Regional chairman and
regional chairman. What your more response is aqua constituency music aqua constituencies rather not going through the old process. Chairman on what is some of the chairman on response.
Not man TV, but there may be some.
Difference here because New Patriotic Party. Your party difference here because.
You see, pointer. Me tell you now, person making it say.
It is not well.
That my party no on Tiapo.
It is not.
That's what you want to say. There, the person may catch you on and say, "Me who, the Sasam now what can the Ghana my being free more and the MPP for being free."
Okay.
The also here and it say, "Asamwesi, we say asumesi say." Ne ahani aka no ho asem.
Okay.
So we say a big political party to say MPP. Tembiano ube pike in summer and Kofo Kana Odia to say near party thing now problem. I don't know the positive things. AC no dear. Young Piki and Mumian Cassette.
Young cut the positive aspect of it. And partner through all these processes we a few ones we did it that way.
Tembiano, your person your Piki those
aspects.
I'm challenging you. Say also befa amanyo kubia.
When you all
with me I Piki those things. Mimi Nyananka MPP, some of the major issues are bad publicity. Nanka are my but yɛn focus on the ebesia enye no
okay
wait ashama dey ya okay obi na wako the primaries na one win no so obeko independent udi we be party ni nyina so bo nanka e dey nanka national executive committee betumi afa sa nipa no ono no te say oboase ye ko yi e na dey we ni nkunim say obeko independent a MPP ye boni aye ne say ye ko ye na ba ko lusu ye na no ti mama ye nka e ma ne nkoye say party ni nyina no si format the enye no de etodwa ye bɛhwɛ kwan ye bɛfa so a ye bɛyi afi ho ye hia ne sɛ 2016 ye bɛgi tumi no na amamu bɔne ye kɔ so ye tumi atenetene no amaga
alaji akwawa na ne
bɔkɔ minia
ze wo high tech o se mi minimu ba wo high tech media can tell me I say ukura phone yesi phone papa o do oni ya say o di ye ko ba o di ba je
phone you technology
I see yes
bibia o dia timi enya obi a obetumi anya
eja phone so
bibia all the knowledge you can get it here.
Okay,
unless you are a lazy man
exactly
until I say you move from that
course mentality
or course need text or say you know somebody say
okay with the phone
because for phone bibia some will be something say you know o for phone you obenya mu aye no
okay akwa banana what say
boko
alhaji mo bom ho modern Ghana they will count down by a lot of counter reactions by way of text but Ghana is gradually going into turn into a lawless state, you know. People also had issues to talk about it. But I'm saying no MPP acquire into the
I think they've done very well. Out of 275 constituency, 245, now 243. Jimmy Koye. Now you cannot express 245 constituencies with over thousands of delegates and participants, supporters, candidates, aspirants near Bibiaba one. Of course, there were pockets of disturbances. It must be accepted, sir. At least, even though the Bibiaba said 23 years after back to constitutional Osaka, because who are branches already 22, 23, just what's our worry. You are no more a child. But of course, being human beings, you should expect some of this. But after 1 week, 2 weeks, they will come back to their normal. Emotions are very, very high because the person was not expecting to lose. Of course, never be so close in all elections. And that's why we were telling the MPP, it was wrong to go to court. You cannot hold elections for 26,000 constituencies. Not expect to be Biabakoso. And the sad thing they have not told Ghanaians. Yeah. And that's some of the technicalities in democracy. Nipa bebre any idea we are more. And I'm saying, Nana Akufo-Addo, any Baumia, any Jake, any court. The president and the NDC were supposed to come and speak to the charges now. They cannot introduce anything new. At a point in time, Kaya was trying to introduce results from two constituents and two of the MP belonging to the MPP, I think either in Juaso or Offenso, about Kaya. The court overruled it. What do you say? Near charges now, code no amudibo, your mama. Nina. Ye copy beer na Akufo-Addo you will get the same charges. Say presiding officer one sign. Say whether overcharge you, overvote you, undervote you. Charges now. But because Nana Akufo-Addo was not on trial. And why would he be on trial? Why could someone easier declare me a winner? What declare officially? So una obeti me akọ someone me say there be we are mommy. Mimi ntimi nka say wo so we are. Election bia obeko bia bibi betochima. But all the same, met me abomo abaso say omayade. I'm very pleased but no and no also because obeti me akan what has happened. But it is to be expected. But unfortunately, we be sa minua kweku patin question me. And the usual MPP mantra. Always BBC omu countryman mo. And they oh you can try MPP a cook ba me near so election yon koto na ba enkoto about national headquarters. Obuase ohone ye to konka okonka osa okonka kraka you know to show you
say konka problem
on vote
your community be say beans we do a toilet aban wa gigi yesika toilet plan e ho ayediam e no be ho to aba
osi
no be to aba no
onwo nyoka en onwo but you see what is refusing to listen to you to the extent he's trying to say munamu instigating munamu I don't know. I disagree with him. Say national headquarters, chairman, and I want treasurer and I say why. Minimum ewo memo. But from here who can make say it is unpalatable. I'm a can be this say ebi I be na twibi and say he refused. O say mum na person page some. Say national secretariat problem or it will affect Obuasi. It will affect Konka. It will affect his chances. Because Omuna manage a large party. Omuna be making sure kakra over mobilizing. Who koi? Who would you stick a bobwa? And send a party force.
I mean, Engom kakra is about Sika.
And I make a see. And now, on MP already we are called primaries. More can muka say bidimu to me says ka do dollars kura only 1 year change and he spent money to win the primaries. He is now going to spend his own resources because the beer amount for Bami Bayare say already we are burning with these problems and a more common fan is a fan ember by all means no matter what delegates or supporters we MPs like Ebru Krabe here to take car to go and vote.
Exactly.
How can you alone do this? And I only watch it for now. Paying for now, Sabi. Yankopo, I show my monster. National party, national secretariat will definitely have to come in. And this is one you are. Now, more can be said. If there is a problem, it is the head.
Sure.
If there is a problem at the national secretariat, it can trickle down. And let me give you a typical example. In 2004, NDC could have won the election. Win the election. 2004, NDC could have won the election. Because unfortunately, now 2001, the MPP by now Ghanaians had so much high hopes. When said that was the first time to change a civilian government from one administration to the other. And that was the time the wind of change so blew through Africa and even all developing countries. Na Ghanaians feel say President Kufuor na say ya hochiri na ekwebi. Unfortunately, within the first 6 months, March to June, so I am a fasema Kenya. Omu to petrol from 6 cities 40 pesos. Mobisa electric say more to me talk to 10 cities, and then by June I got 20 cities. 6 cities to 20 cities. Apart from that, allegations of corruption of high public officials. And they were becoming unpopular by 2004. NDC could have taken advantage to win Anka Omuye United. Unfortunately, now the national chairman of the party, Obeda Samoa, only the founder of the party and the flag bearer of the party, no Muntamu. So why Professor Mills in the campaign baby now? And you know what happened? Omu making sure say Professor Mills will never win the election. How did they do it? In Central Region, Omu police stations, police agents, fire. Even cry MPP supporters. In Volta Region, you cover Sabi. Omu nim chro. Omu no nim about checking voter irregularities, and on police stations. It affected the chances of the Professor Mills and then the NDC. And this national headquarters problem was any media creation. I was expecting that you urge them to resolve it because the people on the ground there, your supporters, are telling you that they cannot wait. 2016, they cannot wait. But to downplay it, it won't solve the problem because the problem will expand, exacerbate. And now, example is it's about money. It's about money.
It's about accountability.
Thank you.
Okay. Me ya no okansen pi mienu pe.
Se kwaku de minister o mane ko sa.
Mienu pentie.
Ba e go twa e homra. Na nya anu yie papa na fa tu dwamaye. Because they dey na ye fu. E di e pesi e dum ja no. Yeah, kwaba, you better wrap up on MVP matters. I didn't say me. Kwaba. Okay, so we are back. 1760 text message line. Imyan for Kwaku Kwati Alhaji Idrisu Bature and so managing editor Alhaji Obakata no so atrase di nkomo afa party Ghana ehun said ya bia Ghana betima kodim ne nyina ebinya hususu so pa ama yetima wo se ampa ye doye man ye proud of your man ana yetia so afebo nya dia ye kope ye baabia abutu ye rap up on the patriotic party.
Yeah, then I make an say Nsamwa Minia Battery can meyi mienu piano. 1 2012 about 2 year a court. Polling stations are NPP ye site ye say basabasa si ho nti court enhwe eho result no na ontwamu no na enye mama de enko a obuase there were polling stations are presiding member signature ntino na yes sa polling stations na yes court ntwamu a sa polling station nyina no na nado na ewini ye nti point I will make in this year to say it is nanado na court na okoye no okoka say ye ntwa mama vote mu no enye correct de tosu mienu MPP sa court na ekoye no ebie ni papi ani na ye mra kwan so eye sene se wonti bibia sene ebe basabasa eno nkyire se MPP mo ya to aba na wentwentwi kakra bi asia na yenka se munim se mu kra mu die mu na bisi enti yemfa nkototo court no as though se we election na se unya issues wo mu die a then constitutional provision as one bibia se o se court no ifi na koma me yemfa nya adwuma bio yentumi nka ne se o se ye adwuma but esise ya MPP die kra no if there are instances before said dia na e wo se eye no anye saa inti opese ye hwe na eho aba no ye twam de to no fofora adan bo ne ben na wo ho eno an se ye kotena se ahwe ye hwe mwie ni ase odi esi ye no eno ano no sa
Sunyani is o ma call for recount to say
exactly ye ko kan na ye se no eho to chima inti ye nto no fofora na ye nto no foforo me ye nko fan no na 2012 abato a me fo se eboa se ye to aba na bibia nkoye
ba di sunya free mu ba yo
PFI mu aba PFI mu aba me ye fan me say
the basis was that ye jaye ho am ye di nkuni ma wi abato de unya bibia pepepe sa
ha point up I making it say MPP crown no mokoto ye no a few issues abam ebinum so moko independent intino election the eden ya wanki
independent
and you know we vote in the nkofo complaining about the kakra ba mu
voter register crown
na me tie no oboapa na oka so si o nti eye dian ya ende ebi bebam eno nkyere se MPP no the esi wom ne yenti bi da na it is to be expected canning not or you should not their building the other argument say think at 2012 in some court and I'm person make sure say a weak logic
I've never said so near me say
mami we now
okay we are
the same man fight and on to then yet as say political party the okoye election kakraka say ya when you be bebam there a problem baby a yen hwe na yenka memo obi amfa no nkoka say
2012
e bi esi wo mu die a na nka 2012 no enioma e course nyina no na nko say mo gemene saa emwa saa adwenkyere de toso mi no MPP min kase ye party no bibi eto chima na ase bibi si na nye fa mama yenka na me react to specific point you may say MPP party no aye na ntwibini na ke say because of ebi amemo ni nyoma SCC nti no party ni nyina no asaya na bibi na me ka se BBC a legitimate se e be fa sa de crown na ma ka se nkofo beje headquarters no ma ka se omumma national officers bi emetena omu office ni se na enkoye esi ye be kamin nanga say eye yemfa ne sa na say yesi ye no kran de mrante ne ye ne no ano no enye eno asem ye ne sen penfo tena ase na do da ya no se da bi sade no de emfata e party munja omo agai nti issue no sina memo ya woka se wenyen wo de betu dwa ye kan mu nsem yesi da bi we no ankoyi we no ankoyi the ocho ne ye ne ya hwene ya solve the me pese ko be ne say ye be kan nyina bom na ya mana
my reference bi wa enra in Volta region and then in Brongahafo region I have chanced upon a former impeachment form enra da ya Volta region the chairman and Brongahafo region I have chanced upon omoko efie to fie to ensure say the general secretary of your party and the chairman will be impeached. It is a minyakata we na meba na mebekenka na me de chirese ya. I don't think that
the okay confirm the entire attitude na o de basisian enye article 10 of your constitution says a nipa 40 esusu say bibi cause of party nim enu nti o say yeyi panye bi firi ho a sa nipa no wo ho kwan say omo je signatures na omo petition National Council na empanyimfo okro no ye hwehwe omu nsem hwe se e wo se yeyi omu ana ye party constitution nti wo se enu sinti no na se kese MPP no asay a isi ya adwini bi a we are almost saying say structures na ye wo or a party mo a ye di address consensus no so be super na se kese mo party no party point and now me person make sure say men don't let me find no yet okay o dey yan fa say na ka o say mo party say mo article 10 and some provisions in mo constitution say obi ye na adwuma na hwe na etochima ekwan a wo fa so a wo tene nuni na emom nkofo amfa no o mo akogina headquarters say o mo obi nkọ ne office MPP mpanyimfo nyina nso agye atum nti we de mo ye ne nye sa mo pese mo mfa nkọ na mo say wo ba ani aba meba wo ma ani aba party no ye mra so kire se ya mfa ye mra no enye adwuma na the sia enye na penfo abeka na
but if you have a chairman stating that the reasons or grounds for I have read your constitution as well say grounds they say a party chairman general secretary no omo so much into MP and NDC ya to talk as among these are grounds.
Look, don't go there.
This is a form I have.
Pro hododo again sa enyoma o raise yes you raise yentia impeach you mo o raise sa de we ebeba National Council there's a provision say obi betina grievances ne so nti ohwe na o say de mo de ba ye de say enya ade e betumi agina so e de yi obi afiri ho nti sa asem ne ya bo agu na ya bo agu
but
so,
again again, I have a letter signed by CK Adom to the national chairman calling on him to step aside.
To step
aside. I have a letter, a copy of a letter. So what I said. That has been signed.
Those step aside letter, CK Adom, it came from many sections of the party. And suggestions to people say, step aside. So once step aside, what will happen? So we are saying, I'm so minding. One 70 be out can call radio, so no. And your papa. And our colleagues see before. No, me say, one some be out. And your papa. And your papa. If you not comment, call air view. Your own paying for better than I say. And part was step aside. Okay, no. Also one step aside. Because you're way and no one no. Obiting chance if a big for na a jadam. If you say step aside, they be out. Point I mean making in an say. Near cost MPP, then you'll be out there. But your structures were party the more a handle. So in spite of National Council chairman for the Council of Elders, regional chairman, step aside Umuka Yin. We drew an old ball Urakobna a Japan now. I didn't know down with you. Or down with you because in MPP, so because you as a step aside, now the offer said, oh, near Bonibia, and also for sort now and a year. Put me now. And I wish you highlight those parties who say, in spite of the Ebinum Kaya, name warning in our
coming events will cast. Okay, I'll just grant you today because whatever I say, I have something to prove of whatever I'm saying. Probably, no, I'm saying, no, I'll grant you today because Ebia, Mesuma misrepresented the situation as it is. because the minutest of drops of issues cannot be said the whole party MPP is in a mess, which in a way I have to buy into it. I agree this morning.
I'm assuring you, that all the events are AC or MPP will not be there forever.
Good. Good.
I'm assuring you, there's no way our events will be forever. MPP will come out of the current misunderstandings. Will come out of it as a party. If we concern, they said the AC, a Bema party no good. Na Ghana one party no. A good year. I'm an interested member, a stakeholder, the MPP and all other political parties. Simply because any party in opposition, a potential party waiting to rule the country. Me interested. Likewise, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Nesuku Wasem, Senkoya, Medifobu Nebemano, and they are sitting ayading. I didn't intelligence any be enkoye, petrons in my becoming. I can go and try and two back at him. Me who are buying Shabi answer a move system, no, same as Hube Haremi. It is should keep coming with explanations. Language. So, because MPP. Where because we the Etiamu Ankasa Kramo Constitution. Man, here and Tinua, a party.
It is better.
Generalization. Sometimes I am a council. And party, and then people think so. Casano.
Okay, but it was well, where's all our treaties or quality as who do they were to?
Or Case, Niamika, and Yen, say. MPP Echo Court no baby a mama winnie no pe na omoko na o kire mi se obuazi kura baby na na akofo ado so winnie e ka ka utie ma asem ni ya we it's not necessary. Out of the 26,000 polling stations no amoko mudiko court ni na baby a mama e winnie. This is public record.
Evidence.
Mr. This is public record.
What you're saying is not factual.
If one or two, if one or two,
no signature. There was no signature. Piano. Yeah, the by Mr. Mimi constituency, Salvation Army polling station. I'm giving you an example. Salvation Army polling station. Obuasi. Your friend is saying, Nana do they win you but not account 4 Obuasi was not account.
How many? How many police stations?
Now.
How many police stations? Out of the over 26,000 police stations, I contest here. Mudiko Court. How many police stations Nana do a win here? How many?
Okay, I'll let you wrap up.
How many? How many?
Kakrebi point how recognize so na kakrebi na efiri now who kind of one sided ebi ni mukra
say me who will be that but who can cry me put that kind man how many out of the 15,000 mama mudi Muhammad Kokotu how many mudi Nana Akufo-Addo Kokotu how many
nti wo wa say about the BSc pepe you the ebi tu ko ra ho wi asa
ni o say ka o mu ye say ko mu pen kra so nkomo pe Ghana year baby ni also come we and say they should order audit of the 26,000 police stations. Say about results in your audit even if it will affect us young checking in pepe. And I'm telling you that overvoting, lack of singing, me na esti baby and na for the win here. So on what basis are you telling you, Mama? But you see, Mama cannot sue them in court because easy are declared winner. It is loose and according to our constitution. If you are dissatisfied, then you can petition the Supreme Court. So it tied the hand of the president. And at the point, the lawyers they were trying to introduce Joasom a police station, another police station in to show the court that they rejected it.
Okay.
If you remember.
Okay. MPPs, you're nationalistic. It's here, and the deregulation be aba. We are Professor Dodu, ignorant, and Rashi, most of them kakra. Yantia saying, I was in kakra. Dear, deregulating, dear,
Because me buy na man. What kind people are saying? Me can keep to everything. They say I do regulation.
Aladi, baby, before Badum.
But answer na me call the regulation. Yes, me say what can some be on the second issue.
Yeah.
Me say ko kwati okwa. Me say okwa parliament. One stranding now for 4 parliamentarians. Sir, a privileges commission no invite you Dr. Dodo Kebeya omo twin sign. Mr. Parliament. Mom omo fa ni we say embre that August house.
Okay, anyone to us.
Okay.
What is the reason? Yeah.
Okay. Neither American say it is not proper, it is not fair. This is an August house. Your friend August house. I don't know how to bring it in.
You're careful, no one appear before.
Oh, I'm not afraid. Wait, I'm not afraid. I even want to join Professor Dodo to go there. So I'm telling you, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to appear before Parliament.
Privilege committee.
No, I'm not afraid. I'm telling you, if they refuse, because that is why I'm begging my colleague here, my friend, my brother. So, you should avert their mind. So, because people 100, 200, bet me have arguing. Also, back up, arguing bet me have sending in now. I didn't believe in Waka.
So, we're ignorant.
Yes. It's never. That is why I'm begging them. They should withdraw that invitation. Because the man will disgrace the whole parliament. I am telling you. They cannot do anything to the man.
Appear before the privilege committee.
Please, I'm not afraid to appear.
Disgrace how? Parliament, in
the end, every PSA, Casano, and yet, and he's going to prove to them, so we'll insist there. And that will make our parliament look very stupid. Excuse me. It is not fair. English language, and yes, I can't kasa. Obikase munim die ewo san semwe eswa etemdie. Ignorant is that you are ignorant about that particular issue. Is that an insult? And are we not seeing ignorance being displayed? Are we not seeing it in our parliament in many issues, in many cases?
But one of the reasons is that Parliament President said, "Import a cook bad time Cassia, a sharp body and says, Shamuni, who said the education and crown. Akase Quaya, 1, 2, and a more call from Mantem Coyes, at the end of compassion, and your papa, into your own guardian quan.
I mean, me papa no dear pa. Or dear also say. Sam Penyufui, Cocoatinu, or more a bay, or my dear Cotinu or Ghana, among yourself, or more allow this thing to happen.
Which thing?
Appearing before the committee, the privilege.
No, near Kosuno about the vaccination trials. Or see, someone Nima, as the parliament, you can summon anybody, including state institutions, mandated to carry out those functions. To come and brief you. You don't just raise any issue talking about trials when you have not even done any research to find out whether trials have been done. Now, what you have displayed is ignorance of the particular subject. And I'm telling you, when he goes before them, he is going to prove why he says so. God, he's a scientist. It is his field. The fact that Parliament is immune, Parliament has all the privileges to say whatever you want to say, doesn't also mean that you should also exhibit ignorance. So, what's your contribution on the floor of Parliament on this subject now? Many of the parliamentarians, they didn't even know the subject. But it's not because Obia Kamiso have to say something. Anytime you say, I'm in power mucho, say, this president they are setting, we are in here, it will affect Parliament in future. Near Papan Kayano, say even come Krania, I will go behind the scenes to go and find out what are his reasons. And I'm just telling you, using the word ignorant, there's no way you can succeed to accuse somebody. say he has degraded and has insulted Parliament. It is not an English word. It is an English word. It's not an insult. It can never be an insult. He says that Parliament was ignorant. And then he knows it is his field. Because some of the trials the parliamentarians were demanding, say, chimpanzee, some of them may have taken place. They don't even know. So are you not ignorant? Maybe some woman here.
Well,
and then, like I told you earlier,
I don't know, but Aladi, the attorney said, Honorable Jacko Sabetra, Academy Professor Doduka, probably he did not use the word ignorant. Because you did yao, say Ghana for Yabidu Sam Pempen, it's a shame about the scientific world now. And he volunteered. Say, almost person use Nukra as a test case, or no other vaccination.
Honorable Jacko. And do you know Honorable Jacko? Only in the background.
So a pharmacist.
And you're pharmacist, Keke. Now a former chief executive of Ghana Food and Drugs Authority, a body mandated by the Constitution to look into this kind of issues. Why would he volunteer himself? That is why. So you see, but if what you are saying is true, honestly, we're MP, and he is also knowledgeable in that field. This is Papa we are here about economic one some more Ghana. What you are putting? No matter what I will say, mean to me because what's that here? Why you Juma Bambai? Obiani maybe a wodina. Also in the field no food and medicine. Why you Juma? When in international law, when in local laws. Parliament what he was come and said they should have summoned the FDA. Come and brief Parliamentary Select Committee on Health and other
on these matters.
On these matters. But you just get up and say, Mr. Speaker, why didn't they go and try it on chimpanzees, on mice and rats? And I was just telling you that this phone says here, I hear global wealth. Who for computers out of an iPad? Who beer, who hear trials on Ebola trials. You see it, whether it has been done, where it was done, how many people were involved, and so on. You can get all this information. Maybe I'm pardon the parliamentarians. And I'm so many offices. Offices, research assistants, and so on. I believe that when they get these facilities, because some of the things we say in Parliament is ill-informed.
Okay.
Well, on sir. Minya Alaji Batiri Okasa no o cite Honorable Ejako o say a pharmacist or say o say o was sadie no ho nimde Honorable Ejako ka parliament ho obi say sa parliament na ignorant. You see now afi asemo a panyin no kan ye no yan ayete he o ye say MPs ni bi wo mu a omu wo ho nimde omu ye good omu ye Obia koka say yen nyina put together
yenimdi
ye ignorant and sakasa we ye pese ye gitum. The question I'm crying me beside and say Professor Dodo no cry no sa word no use ye no edien ade papa na odibenya afrim se ma hye bedwamfo na wo kan say omu nim de sa de no omu ye omu trewu wo ho edien no obenya afrim Parliament say upe umpo yen aye di tumi bi ama parliament ebi anso masema on minister yi parliament betumi a pass motion e be frustrate dwumadi a ye in many ways there e was say ye people like Professor Dodo ma omofo so mo wa de no hunimde no there also oye ne say obepe kwan a obefa so a de di tumi a hye ne nsa a otumi ye eni abi kura de a mo be ye bedumre bi na ehia ho emra Sai ignorant people ya na be samra no. Ntu bi sa won say me di nkita ho afa omu a tumi nu kita omu a kasa ben na wase me use se ne be ya in the end Ghana ebe koyi ama ye nyina. Is this a language? It is just not a language too. Right? Parliament ya wo ho no. Ye to abama ye se di enti. Ye to abama ye because umpesu asufo feel say wona ubetumi akon asem ama wo. Wona se BBC BBC wo aban mu a wobetumi atwe aban akoso se me nkofo a ewo fie no we ni we a mo ye na be how mo kwan we so a political representation. Inti enye me nwanwa se topic bi say ebetodwa na MPs no omunim dia omde e bi kro no de ofo se de all kan no eye
because he works as housing minister so some say here about na case enya Ebola ma have be amode e baba
can you imagine
oh but that is
can you imagine
that is makes me believe that's
exactly
that is the ignorance you
see what
that is the ignorance
the point is that onipa no kire ninim dia a onim fa ho enioma a hana gwinti a se wo de ade no call referendum for instance so obeto for the idea obeto ati idea no idea agwe woni tum na all express ya kire into we na se agwe no o tu wo ade no hunim dia no emwa eye kasa de kasa so oh nanu mi tie mo kasa no dia mo kan say ni said oh minim say mi nkyerɛkyerɛ mu nkyerɛ mu inti na mo kan saa no mi kyerɛ mu a mo bɛte ase o kasa obi anfa nko privileges committee o na o gina ho kasa because parliament we point aka o gina ho na say o kasa the whole parliament o mu comment ni ignorant ye o ya o pa kyerɛ ni say parliament assembly ni ho ɛtɔ hɔ a ye wo
nimdie for
omu yenyina ebo nimdie wo ho say na kan na bia the national economy eto hɔ a me specialized knowledge okina wo de ade foforo to hɔ a you can always be sure say yen your parliament ye be technical understanding of enioma ebeba hɔ no at each point yesua because yen technical people in any field so when efa bi ono emse dwumadie we ni nsa wo mu kakra ntina obeka ni say but so pay attention to parliament and sempi na to hɔ a adwea initially parliamentarians ni be kira fa ho no na any expert de no ebo abira eno ye ma de president do aye ya ntene no wan hwa every week obi be fra parliament ignorant because assembly
that is why me parliament
say assembly ebe todwa no ye wo parliamentarians bi wo ho a omu ni technical knowledge in that field culture me susu say e wo say ye nyina ye build any a culture of mitie MPs no and I mitie ministers no and even sometimes media for to me can say me utia I say one show anu ya obeka the prof kan ye bi but yan kan say there me for instance in the area of finance and economy media to me cover issues ni bia me who straight away say onipa kra o cover ye no oni nimdie no wo saa de no me ngina on ka say journalists ye ignorant how me kasa obeda ni journalists aye adwuma the American say no journalists no cover ye no some of the facts or no enye yi unya kwan na wa kyerɛkyerɛ no mu professor Dodo kasa okan na enye
because yes so
eni si so kura and ya hwe ye nso na say oya MP oni technical or political representative and ye na betena fie ensem ba ye say senior nka ne nkofo e wo fie esi hunu no ono express those sentiments na policy makers emfanya adwuma na obebie na no bia yes yo ignorant and you me na no e so na ontia se na ehye no nti na make say the president do kan no alaji men so kura the language was bad the language was very bad me feel say privileges committee ye de na kono ye do ko privileges committee okwa ko provision okwa ko privi say comment ni bia mu bi ye no na enye technically sound inti ignorant na me use me correct that is not the point the point is kasa na we use here no my parliament looking good or bad that is the issue I can decide wo the fact say we knowledge o say o continue no approve saying so ono obetena ho a we are sure say obi betumi a pick an issue in another technical area onim ho hwe eno nkyere say as a citizen of Ghana say assembly koso a ontumi nya den enka bi doesn't make him an ignorant person inti Mr. Alaji intitia me pesa wo de ma atiefo nyina any Professor Dodu no ane say enye parliament nko a say ye di ye ho nkita ho na obi kira adwene bi na ensipia the word ignorant is unacceptable meme ye nyai na ye mfa ni die ma ye ho ye ntiase a ye nkyerɛkyerɛ ye ho saa na be ma oman no atumpo
oman o say ya anti ya friend aunt ni no a Dachi obisu pe.
Oh, Miss Antony Kasano.
Kasana. It's interest, yeah, Kasano.
Ukra a quite so bet Nini. I said, the prof can and
enemy is Bonnie Ben Waka.
Ignorant.
Ignorant, Brofukasa. And let me ask you, Oba, again, would be Ben. Again, would be Ben. And Mammy, on
the basis of say what some kind of issues.
I want to make my point. Only say a show BT, English, English, mine. Because or the theory by me by say if you have any flat around. Actually, what happened? The man is now a hero. Papa, your patron. Someday
he'll be a hero.
Debbie, your can Mammy Jones, I would say because I'm more.
Son, I like
a hero. They are going to make him a hero.
A hero, Ben.
I am telling you, I am going to make a hero. I am predicting. Say freedom of speech. Man, it will be at them. But I think that if they go ahead to hold the professor.
Parliament in Assembly because this is the whole body. Speaker.
Say
Anamo we on them.
Yes,
of Parliament is High Court. Yes, Anamo on them. Because maybe
the worst they can do is to kill me. The worst they can do is to jail me or to kill me.
Alhaji, that attitude is not right.
No, I'm telling you.
The attitude is not right.
Ignorant
and also fight for contempt.
Let me tell you.
So I appear before the privileged committee. And that is the Munyam Shagana in I want to
Mamin Kabi being chill. Niaokano Parliament is an august house. I would say a bull.
This committee has the powers of High Court.
You forget about the court. You forget about the court.
No, he cannot. It is idea down.
Missy, forget about the High Court.
I want that power. I never forget about it.
Supreme Court call on Crawford Kata Emfata.
The site one for contempt.
Missy, and your contempt.
Urefi. Yeah.
And I don't know what I was saying.
Some woman Kasa and the Munkos here. Mr. Supreme Court,
and I'm saying I don't think you want to encourage
people make insightful comments that can land them in jail, but people go ahead to do it. What I'm saying, Parliament, a very, very important institution in every democracy. Uko England, Britain, Uko US, or be a very powerful president. Because they can remove a president. They can remove a chief justice. There's obvious to me about Edu Parliament. But the question we should ask ourselves is, those parliaments, was it given to them on a silver platter? They earn it. They earn it. They earn it because they almost said that, almost you don't come to Parliament because you represent a constituency and come and say anything. No, listen to what I'm saying. You are portraying to the whole world, and your constituency in one. You are portraying to the whole world, and your constituency in one. So, our parliamentarians, they will get that kind of privilege now. They will get that kind of respect when they begin to demonstrate their capacity. But see, when you come. Master, you can try to dramatize issues. You can go ahead and dramatize.
No, it's not about
you can go ahead and dramatize.
These are words that
I say you can go ahead and dramatize. Niamey can say.
You see, when you talk about unless they begin to demonstrate.
Respect is earned. And don't you know that?
So,
respect is earned.
We have not earned it.
Listen to me, please. Respect is earned. Demonstrate that I should respect you.
Oh, but I say by inference.
That is why.
It means you have not demonstrated as parliamentarians.
Wait. Let me just quote something here for you to see. Professor Dodu, let me just quote something here for you. And listen to what he said. Oh. What shocked me is that I had an MP. Meanwhile, you were talking about Ajaku was part of the MPs. But you and I know, sir, when they say parliament, it's not an individual. It's not one or two persons. Because decisions of parliament is binding on every parliamentarian. Into Waka, he is not one. Did you say parliamentarians? But he says parliament. And here, I'm even going to say what he said. He said, I heard an MP say that do we have systems? Do we have systems? Does that MP not know that we have the Foods and Drug Board? MPs can say, do we have systems? We have the Food and Drug Board, whose existence was the creation of the same parliament. Parliament created the Food and Drugs Board. And you come back and say we don't have institutions and our systems to look at these issues. So he's asking, if this is not embarrassing to the nation, what is it?
Okay, all right.
So you understand me? The man is even holding back. So the way he was saying, so we should be mindful of our language. In fact, the man tried to sanitize his language. Because as a lawmaker, you have passed a law, even if you were not in that parliament. I'm sure when you go through the records, you will see the number of institutions, state institutions, Parliament of Ghana has created since 1992. So why would you come and be talking as if we don't have that institution?
This issue, I like saying Alaji Afano Krano. Me fan say Parliament ye ni obi enyan tokwa bi na she will be embarrassed. I mean, me just sana discussions near. And the last example of CITE, this year because flat near the idea, but do we have institutions to predict and prevent them? Me bench say not money ho.
But you for money ho.
Itina some of these engagements, who come here the entire council, but make me a catch say, yes, we have a certain institution there. But when I talk of institutions, I am only inferring say and yet sufficient, and therefore the danger that we are afraid of may happen. Maybe sad discussion nanka kasanu ye na ye di nkita ho anke Badwam broad point, and it say and yet even in respect of parliament in respect of journalists, in respect of police people, at each point you bet to me akan sembi anaya ye bibia e kire se ade ne yen hyeda yenim die wo ho no enwie peyo ne sremo omuo nimdie no memo ma no kasa no nya dia ignorant yemo ya kasa no nya okan sa efise ade no nimdie bi ho a onye dey
because speaker bufu pa
oh man the language I'm surprised say ya adopt this language so ochina president kokasa say the president is ignorant minister kasa journalist kokasa say journalists are ignorant ya de sakasa na to ya no a inkita hudi enye dey
etu onyanko a etu diem parliamentarians etu the president so we are crofo or border what you say
but he wants us to discourage.
I'm saying sakasa no point of party say ebinum the president in
but you see
the parliament there no
what can say speaker both in
me dey make an say
parliamentarians they be kan omu dia omu nyina
enya parliament man kan
ma parliament or generalizing mood no say everybody should get away from that language.
Institutions.
What language?
Ignorant.
A language like this. Professor said it was a shame that MPs had asked whether that the trial had been carried out on mice and chimpanzees, when the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health could have easily obtained clarity on the issues from the FDA, which is the institution mandated to carry out the body. Now,
Parliament as an institution may approach another institution. The word of an individual MP would jamino at the fra like and then mo invite you here. Only back on over Casano, or select committee no. So we invite. Oh, that didn't happen.
I'll go in just 1 minute. IMF regulation and I say deregulation. Who say just some 2 minutes to clarify.
The OCC a partial deregulation because you see, Obia to me ton few senior pay except that it is a trust ceiling. Besides ceiling no. Dictated by the petroleum pricing formula. Into the money partial deregulation. They are buying air can say opeso call full deregulation there or say you call parliament na emrano ye petroleum pricing formula if you so that there's no limit on and the medical talk to NPA and the Ministry for Petroleum and they say the current policy now say abanye no clear whether it's full deregulation. Well, at some point, if you leave the cap, if you go above the cap there, the NPA will draw your attention, which means there's still some regulation. At the same time, no, UTA language na full deregulation. And I think there must be clarity as to exactly what government wants.
I'm going to that's a short notice bad what you have correlations so that's it. Okay, so and the money I must say that I before the come out but Ugususu G achede no e de ko yo okay e dey see ye ko